Hi everyone, it's your boy Zach, and I know not answered this, but asked this before. But it was a couple years ago. Maybe things are better, different. Where is there the equivalent of the Russian pirate sites for manga? There's this series Orion by Walt Simonson, but there's also a book called Orion by Masamune Shiro, and I would really like to reread that. I bought the miniseries. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's in my storage locker. But I remember a couple years ago I asked this, and the options were just some like really like wonky UI websites. This is very simple. Like you just go to issue 3 and you just scroll down. Like, is there the equivalent of this without a bunch of UI that like limits the reading space to like this big on the screen? Because that's what I found even recently when I tried to find it myself. So I did a community post, and usually when I do a community post, it's because it's not enough to do a video, and I kind of get it out of my system. But the thing is, this community post actually doubled as a video title, and a really good one. So it's like, although I think there might be, it's like 100 characters. This looks a little long. Like I might have to take anti-woke out there. So the title would be, even if they lied, it's still true. Or maybe I'll just change it to true lies. Anyway, I was talking about how these conservative YouTubers, libertarian, whatever, just decided a couple years ago that they just get to lie about whatever the fuck they want. Like they'll just say, "Oh, God, one of them put this crazy price tag." You know when they reshot, like, or not reshot, but added a scene of, what is it, Julia Garner on the beach in Fantastic Four? They were throwing crazy numbers, like millions added to the budget, and it's literally just her and like a kid staring at the waves, and then a honestly pretty cheap special effects shot, and that's it. And of course they said like Captain America 4 was reshot or was shot basically entirely 2 to 4 times. I think the funniest one is when I challenged them, and I'm like, so you're telling me that cranky ass Harrison Ford willingly reshot all of his scenes 2 to 4 times. And since they're liars and they don't have to prove anything, they're like, well, not Harrison Ford. Okay, Harrison Ford is in like 25% of the movie. So it's stupid. All those rumors they had, none of them turned out to be true. And no accountability. Not like, oh shit, we need to examine our process. Just like, what are they freaking out about now? Cracker Barrel and Peacemaker Season 2. I got this response, and I mean, it's funny on one hand, but it's also really sad because this is a significant portion of like essentially my age group of men that are just sad sack losers crying about Strawberry Shortcake and Betsy Wetsy and Snow White. Like, that's depressing. It's funny a little bit, but it's mostly really depressing. And I really do think like studies need to be made about this cohort, group, whatever you want to call it, because something happened to them along the way. And the thing is, people like these people have given up on liking anything at the age of 42. Like, you're gonna live for another 40 years. Everything is bad. Okay, so this guy says, even if they were wrong with the Captain America reshoots, which was them saying basically the entire movie was reshot. Well, the movie was shot 2 to 4 times, and there were 1 to 3 like entirely reshooting the movie, asterisk, except for the Harrison Ford scenes. Like, whatever. Even if they were wrong with the Captain America reshoots, it doesn't change these movies have been dog shit for years, and a quick search will show you Disney has lost hundreds of millions of dollars. What are you on about? Even if these YouTubers lie like you say, the average person doesn't watch these YouTube videos and nothing is stopping them from seeing the films slash TV shows. If the movies were so great, comma, they wouldn't be losing money. Okay, so first of all, in 30 plus movies, they've lost money on a couple of them. None of them this year lost money. They all broke even to make a small profit in the box office. Then they go on to make money a dozen different ways off of each movie for the next 100 years. Well, technically forever, but it'll attenuate over time. So, I mean, the games they've played, the Goo Goo Gaga games, I think my favorite one is when they said, like, initial estimate and then cost after going through it and going through the standard amount of reshoots and just not guessing your budget. Like, they're like, they lied about $150 million. No, there was an initial estimate and then it cost more than they thought. I even saw a comment, it's like, man, the box office is really bad. The estimate for this summer was $4 billion, and it only made 3.78, million. Or, you understand? 3.7 You understand? But anyway, that just sounds like they rounded up with the estimate. Like, estimates aren't like exact numbers. They're like, they'll round up. It'll all be round numbers, rounded numbers. I love the idea that even if they lied, it's still true. And then this guy says, a lie isn't somehow less bad if fewer people here believe it. So as I've mentioned before, the superhero fatigue was almost exclusively felt by Aunt Sally and Cousin Janie, which means, there was a period of about 5 years where a bunch of normie fake geek girls went to every single Marvel movie because that was the style at the time, like wearing an onion on your belt. And then it faded for multiple reasons, and it didn't come back because, did Rubik's Cubes come back? Did parachute pants come back? As huge as they were the first time. No, they didn't. It was a fad because the gals from HR and your mom and your grandma went to go see, there's a new Marvel out. And so all these alpha males are bemoaning Aunt Sally no longer going to Marvel movies. There's also, you factor in the, they always want to talk about, you got to adjust for inflation, but you never have to adjust for the heyday of 3D movies, more expensive tickets. But yeah, so out of 30 plus movies, a couple have lost money, and none of the ones from this year. But apparently, a lie is, so the guy says, the guy responding to the first guy says, a lie isn't somehow less bad if fewer people hear / believe it. All lies are bad, and lies are bad all the time. Liars should absolutely be called out. Imagine how much better the world would be if no one could get away with lying. So the guy says, keep talking about anything other than the fact the movies, shows are dog shit, and they're losing hundreds of millions. It's always hundreds of millions. Like, nothing ever falls short by 18.5 million. It's always 100 million or hundreds of millions. Famously, one of those right-wing opinionated news sites hand-waved $333 million just based on nothing. At this point, it's a religion, and it's a religion for losers. It is a religion for mediocre middle-aged men who have given up on life. They're not going to get in shape. They're not going to change anything. They're just going to cry about women have to rage. Rachel Zegler, like, shut up, you're dumb bitches. And if you're not watching these YouTube channels, ironically, you're a fucking loser. Like the period where it's like, oh, well, maybe. No. These guys lie, and you don't even call them out because they make you money, or they're essentially your boyfriend. I saw one comment where this guy was like, leave Drinker alone. Like, what the hell? It's freaking leave. That's the leave Britney alone for closeted conservatives. Like, you sound so gay. But anyway, yeah. So nothing they say is true. They're a bunch of liars, and it's not still true if you're still angry. They are liars. They have no integrity. And these weak men who gave up on life halfway through. Nobody likes to hear about someone's dream, but I had a dream that made like a pretty cool story. And in it, I had volunteered for some sort of like Mars mission. And it wasn't like a cool Mars mission. It was like miserable. You're probably going to die on the way there. You're going to die in a few years. And there was a point where we were lifting off. And like as soon as we were literally like 10 feet off the ground, because this is like a one-way mission. Like you don't get to go back. I was so angry at myself. I'm like, what did you do, man? Like there's a whole planet. You could have done so many things and you just locked yourself into this one-way course to a shortened life or a miserable. I mean, worst thing is you go to one of those Mars colonies when they start them up and you don't die. Like that's gonna fucking suck. That's like submarine duty forever. But yeah, like the period of time where it's like, oh, these lovable lugs, they got me through, lockdown. It's like, no, these are piece of shit liars with no fucking integrity who lie ridiculous lies. Every single time there's the rare occasion when a movie is almost entirely reshot, it is a huge fucking deal. With coverage everywhere. Even like Forbes will cover it. Like not just like Variety or Deadline. An entire expensive movie being reshot is massive fucking news. And we're supposed to believe that these fucking yokels, whose sources are each other, who lie constantly, never correct each other, never have any integrity, say, oh look, I can't take this. Drinker fucking lies. He fucking fakes his reviews. We had a fucking panel, and he kind of was like wishy-washy. It's like, I'll see it soon. Oh, that was terrible. And then the next day, he was just repeating what we said, and even like the time, like it doesn't make any sense that he saw it. He's lying. I mean, they lie or they form a narrative beforehand, and they're... What do I call these guys? I don't want to curse, but what do you call weak men with crushes on other men who buy plushies of them, gossiping about Snow White? Like, I don't even think there's a word for that. Supposedly Shakespeare like created like dozens of words. We need a Shakespeare to create a single word, not a phrase, not mediocre middle-aged men who gave up on life halfway through it. There needs to be a word, just like a single word for these people. And this is ridiculous. It's like, yeah, maybe they lied, but what they said is still true. And also, unnamed movies have lost hundreds of millions of dollars. No, a couple. If you have a business where you produce 30 different brands of widgets and 4 of them lose money, you are the business genius of the widget industry forever. They will be talking to you about you in business school. It's like 30 different types of widgets. Only 4 of them didn't make a profit or at least break even. This is how can we be like this widget genius? But yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. Like I said, you're either watching these channels ironically or hate watching, I guess, which would be kind of the same thing, or you're a dipshit fucking loser. Like you get lied to terribly, I might add, and you just like, oh yeah, can I buy a plushie of you? You're my hero. Hey, leave him alone. Parasocial. Oh my god, it's literally pathetic. I think I had some other point. Yeah, go out to the movies. Even like when I saw Caught Stealing, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. But I was still like into it. And I had a soda and I got out of the house. And, it was fine. It was fun. I had a hot dog. they had the hot dog ready. They run out of the hot dogs a lot, which is weird because they're like, "Oh, we ran out of hot dogs." Or oh, actually, you know the thing where it turns the hot dogs? I always assumed they like cooked the hot dog and then they put it on that to keep it warm, but that's warms it up also. So multiple times I've been like, "Can I get a hot dog?" They're like, "We don't have it yet." It's like they're right there. Then they go over and they stick a thermometer in it. And it's like, "Oh, it'll be ready in 20 minutes." I remember one time they go, "If you stand up right over there, we'll call your name when it's ready." It's like, I'm going to see the movie. I will come back out in 20 minutes. But yeah, you can enjoy things, or you can be a sad sack loser, closet case conservative crying about strawberry shortcake or whatever they got their cracker. They got their Cracker Barrel. You know the restaurant chain they've never talked about ever in tens of thousands of hours of podcasts? Victory! Now you can have the worst chicken fried steak ever with your grandma at a restaurant with a vaguely racist sign, but enough plausible deniability. But you guys were really bothered about that sign. I'll tell you, in America, nobody has ever driven by a Cracker Barrel, first, especially like the first time you become aware of it, and be like, "That's just a restaurant." Everyone's like, "Yeah, we see what you're doing. Yeah, you're not slick." Cracker Barrel and some old slave owner looking dude on the sign. And it's not like he's mean looking too. No, he doesn't look like a slave owner. He looks like a guy who was like the next generation after slavery was abolished, and he's just pissed. He's like, "I gotta pay these motherfuckers. I gotta till my own soil. He's time to eat terrible chicken fried steak with my grandma." Woke Zach, jealous, crazy, something. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.